dalam dunia dakwah tabligh macam-macam orang beranggapan, macam-macam lah. Jadi selama dia dah beberapa tahun dalam usaha ini, dia akan berusaha untuk menterjemahkan atau dari pengalaman dia untuk terangkan usaha tabligh.
So I want to talk about what I've seen with my own eyes and what we have experienced personally.
Dan dia akan cerita tentang apa yang dia dah pernah lihat depan mata dia sendiri dan melalui pengalaman dia.
The first introduction of Islam to Australia was actually from the town of Tabligh. They found some relics, Islamic relics, up in the north of Australia. So Australia in the past was connected to Indonesia by land. Then the sea rose and it has become an island.
Jadi usaha ini bermula daripada zaman tabi'in, tabi'in di mana waktu dahulu Australia dengan Indonesia dia bukan satu tanah. Jadi apabila air laut telah naik, jadi Australia menjadi pulau yang besar.
But in our modern times, the first introduction to Islam was in 1860.
Dalam usaha agama Islam mulai dalam zaman moden ni, Islam mulai tersebar atau mulai ada di Australia pada tahun 18.
See, Australia consists of 3 major deserts.
Australia ni mengandungi 3 padang pasir, 3 besar padang pasir.
When the British occupied Australia, they found it difficult to cross these deserts with their horses.
Jadi waktu British merintah dulu, dia nak melalui desert ni atau padang pasir terbaik sangat payah, susah untuk mereka melalui dengan kuda mereka.
So they remembered that in India they had camels.
So dia tinggal dekat India dulu, masa dia merintah India juga, dia tinggalkan ada unta.
So they imported camels to Australia to help them cross these deserts and carry their goods around.
Jadi mereka membawa unta-unta ini untuk mereka bergerak seluruh Australia.
The first ship that came to Adelaide was in 1860, carrying 122 camels.
Tahun 1860 lebih, dia kata unta yang pertama datang ke Adelaide lebih kurang 120 unta.
The British, of course, they don't know how to handle camels. So they brought with them what they call the cameliers. Cameliers are from Afghanistan and they're mainly from Balochistan.
Orang Inggeris ni dia tak tahu nak jaga unta ni, jadi dia terpaksa lah cari orang Afghan ataupun Balochistan untuk bela unta ni.
We have the records.
Kita ada rekod-rekod dia
and their photographs.
dan gambar-gambar.
When they landed, mashallah, they had bigger imamas. You know the Pathans, they had bigger imamas, big beards.
Jadi datang orang Afghan ni, dia punya dengan serban yang besar, dengan janggut yang besar.
And their title was Mawlawi. Mawlawi is a alim.
Dan bersama-sama mereka orang alim
And Hafiz of Quran.
dan hafiz Quran.
Also the children in the photographs were wearing imamas.
Dan begitu juga anak-anak mereka datang memakai baju-baju cara Islam.
But they were not allowed to bring their women.
Tak dibenarkan bawa wanita.
So eventually they had to marry from the Aborigines or from white women.
Dan akhirnya mereka kahwin dengan orang asli sana ataupun kahwin dengan orang Inggeris.
These cameliers, in spite of the very, very hard circumstances at the time, the racist attitude was at its peak. The white man had tremendous hatred or racist attitude to this Afghans.
Jadi walaupun orang Inggeris bawa mereka ke sana, tapi mereka mengalami tekanan yang kuat orang Inggeris. Orang ini tak suka dia orang ni. Tak suka, tapi dia bawa dia pandai bela unta, tapi dia orang tak suka, racist.
It is registered in the archives in Australia that a lot of them died of what they called misadventure, meaning that they were killed.
Jadi dalam rekod banyak menunjukkan mereka akhirnya mereka dibunuh oleh orang Afghan, dibunuh oleh tak suka.
One Afghan was shot dead because he was washing his feet in the pond of the white man. Wudu.
Ya, ada orang Afghan tu ambil wudu kan, jadi dia basuhkan kaki dia dalam pond, dalam pond apa dia? Kolam, dalam kolam kan. Jadi orang Inggeris nampak dia basuh kaki dalam kolam, dia tembak dia.
In spite of this attitude, although they kept separate, but they built 60 masjids around Australia.
Allah. Akhirnya dalam kesusahan mereka dapat membina 60 masjid.
They're called tin mosques.
Dia panggil tin mosque.
Tin.
Small, is it?
Not tin, you know the tin?
Orang tin, buat daripada timah. Masjid buat daripada timah.
Out of these 60 mosques today, there are only 3 of them left.
Daripada 60 tu hanya 3 saja.
And one was rebuilt as a replica.
Kemudian satunya dibina sebagai satu replika.
One in Adelaide, one in Perth, and one in Broken Hill.
Satu di Broken Hill, satu di Adelaide, satu di Adelaide, Broken Hill,
Broken Hill
and Perth. Ya.
The Broken Hill Mosque is a museum.
Mosque sudah jadi museum ke Broken Hill, jadi museum.
We went, alhamdulillah, there, and you find that there are sijadas on the ground, and on each sijada there is a card with the name of the person who used to pray there.
Dan di situ kami jumpa, di situ replika nampak sejadah ya. Dan sejadah itu tulis nama orang yang pernah sembahyang kat sejadah itu.
That's what was left of them.
Itulah yang ada.
Out of the descendants of the Afghans, or we call them Afghans, but they were mostly Balochistanis. Out of the descendants, there is about, it is said, about 20,000 of them left there.
Dan lebih kurang ada 20,000 lah orang Afghan atau Balochistan, lebih kurang 20,000.
It's 26,000 actually.
26,000.
Their names are still Khan, Dadullah, Satur, Zada. The family name is still there, but the first name is either Barbara or Michael or John or whatever.
So nama-nama mereka pun yang nama-nama surname, nama keluarga dia nama Khan, nama Islam lagi tak. Tapi nama dia yang nama sendiri dia dah tukar nama Michael dan sebagainya lah.
All what they knew was that our grandparents were Muslims.
Yang dia tahu atuk-atuk aku saya dulu adalah orang Islam.
So we made mashwara because we are not their own Christians now. We made mashwara as we are not allowed to give da'wah to Christians. So we made mashwara with Hazrat J.D. and he said, these are the children of Muslims, don't leave them.
Tapi bila kami tentang hal ini kami bersuara di Zamuddin dengan arwah Hasan, dan dia kata jangan tinggalkan mereka. Mereka ni ada asal-usul orang Islam, jangan kita kena dakwah mereka.
So we prepared the Jamaah. We went to a place called Port Augusta. There's a lot of concentration, a lot of them are in that area.
So kita bentuk Jamaah di where is it?
Port Augusta.
Port Augusta, ramai penduduk sana.
So we gathered them in one place, and I was talking to them.
Dan kami dah kumpulkan mereka dan saya sendiri beritahu mereka.
There were 3 Pakistani origin sisters. One Zainab Zada, one Fatma Zada, and one Aisha Zada.
Ingat lagi nama dia, lama ni cerita dia ingat. Jadi dalam jemaah tu ada wanita kan, dia sebut nama-nama tadilah.
I remember them because there is a big story around them. See, Fatma Zada and Zainab Zada passed away, they died before. Aisha Zada was the only one left.
Jadi dia kenal tahun itu ada peristiwa di mana mereka telah meninggal dan tinggal satu orang, 2 orang meninggal, seorang lagi tinggal.
Most beautiful Pakistani lady.
Most beautiful, paling cantik, wanita bangsa yang paling cantik.
She was 80 years old, 85 years old at the time.
Sekarang dah umur 80 tahun.
So she was sitting in that majlis when we gathered them.
Dia duduk dalam majlis tu lah, dalam majlis yang kita kumpulkan.
And I was talking to them about Islam.
Saya cerita pasal Islam.
And I had the tasbih in my hand.
Ada tabligh di tangan saya.
Aisha Zada, when she saw it, her eyes bulged. She said, "Oh, my father had one of these."
Jadi Aisyah tu teringat, dia tengok, oh sebenarnya tengok tabligh, saya tengok, oh bapak saya tu ada tasbih begini.
So I gave it to her as a present.
So saya bagi tasbih juga.
She was very happy.
Sangat.
And she said, "I remember my father used to say, La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah."
Pernah dia dengar bapak saya cakap, La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah.
So when I have a problem, I say, La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, the problem goes away.
Bila saya punya masalah, saya sebut La ilaha illallah, problem hilang.
Alhamdulillah, she passed away about 18 months or 2 years ago, and she died on Islam, alhamdulillah, on the kalimah.
Yang baru-baru ni dalam 1-2 tahun dia telah meninggal. Dia meninggal dalam kalimah.
There was another man called Jack Khan.
Seorang lagi nama lelaki Jamaah.
He was 70 odd years old.
Sekarang umur 70 tahun.
And I asked him, I said, "Jack, can't you remember anything?" His father was Imam.
Saya tanya Jack, Jack ni, kau tak ingat ke? Tak Islam, bapak kamu dulu imam.
He used to work as a barman,
Dia kerja di bar,
selling alcohol.
jual alkohol.
And he said, "No, I don't remember anything. I started work when I was 10 years old. I don't remember anything."
Saya tak ingat, saya awal kecil lagi, umur 10 tahun saya dah kerja dah.
So, from the ones left there, anybody above 80 years old, they might remember that their parents used to say, La ilaha illallah.
Jadi kanak-kanak yang umur 8 tahun maksudnya, dia ingat mak bapak mereka ada sebut La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah.
Under 80 years old, they don't know anything about Islam.
Orang bawah daripada 8 tahun, dia tak kasar tak.
Now, these are the children of ulama and hufaz Quran.
Mereka inilah anak-anak hufaz, anak ulama, hafiz.
Now we move to our own time now. Alhamdulillah, I migrated to Australia in 1968.
Sekarang saya cerita tentang hal saya. Saya berpuluh di Australia tahun
1968.
1968, 1968.
Where you originated from?
Mesir, Egypt.
When we landed in Australia, in Melbourne, there was only one mosque.
Jadi kita pergi Melbourne, waktu itu ada satu masjid saja.
And that mosque was locked by key.
Dia dikunci masjid itu.
Open twice per year, Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha.
2 kali setahun dia buka untuk masa hari raya.
And we had another place, and it's to Musalla, Surau, old weatherboard house.
Dan kita ada satu masalah, dia orang punya rumah.
There were 90,000 Muslims at the time in Melbourne.
Masa itu ada orang Islam 90,000.
Between Turkish and Lebanese and Egyptians and Pakistanis and Indians, all nationalities, there are 90,000 Muslims in Melbourne at the time.
Ada 90,000, banyaklah orang Turki, orang Afghan, macam-macam negara yang disebut tadi lain.
It used to be 4 people praying Jamaah Salat.
Dulu ada sembahyang Jumaat 4 orang saja.
We used to call each other by phone in the morning to make sure that 3 will come and be Imam, otherwise there will be no Jumu'ah.
Jadi dari pagi lagi tidak call, make sure ini ada Jumaat mana, 3 orang, 4 orang, tidak. Saya kita call 3 orang, jadi dah tentu ada imam solat.
Eventually, we had the first Tabligh Jamaah came from India in 1973.
Akhirnya tahun 1973 Jamaah Tabligh dari India datang.
We didn't know what Tabligh was.
Saya tidak tahu Tabligh tersebut.
Some people came, mashallah, with their luggage and stayed in the masjid, and like yourselves, you gave ikram to us, we gave them ikram. But we did not mix with them.
Dia datang ke masjid, kita buat ikram dia, tapi kita tak bercampur dengan mereka.
Same as happening here now.
Apa yang berlaku juga sekarang.
Eventually, we did not mix with them, but they went back to India, spent 40 days, then they went back to India.
Tak campur ke orang, jadi bapak mari dia pun balik.
The Amir of the Jamaah is still my friend today.
Amir Jamaah tu Amin waktu masih kawan saya lagi dalam kita ada kontak lagi.
He said he went back, he told me after that, he went back to India, he gave the ahwal to the Amir of Tabligh. He told him, forget about Australia. Muslims there are finished. They will not come back, they become totally out of Islam.
Allah, jadi dia beri laporan dekat Amir kat sana, dia kata, forget it lah, Rasulullah dah finish tak ya. Kita give up lah, dia tak ada orang Islam, dah tak ada amal Islam lah.
So Allah Azza wa Jalla says in the Quran, حتى إذا استيقظ الرسل وظنوا أنهم قد كذبوا جاءهم نصرنا. When our messengers lose hope, then our nusrat is around the corner.
So bila dia baca Quran tadi, bila Nabi-Nabi ni dia lost hope, tak ada harapan lagi dengan Allah SWT, maka Allah akan letak nusrat itu ke tepi.
So straight away the Amir of Tabligh sent another Jamaah after that.
Terus Amir Jamaah telah hantar satu lagi Jamaah datang ke Australia.
And that second Jamaah Tashkil, my brother, he's the responsible person for the deal.
Jadi Jamaah yang kedua datang tu telah bawa abang saya yang dia tak datang waktu dia, abang dia Syekh Montaz.
And on their heels, another Jamaah came from Kuwait, which I went out with them the first time, 1974.
Dan 1974 datang Jemaah Kuwait. Kuwait datang, dan waktu itu saya ikut Jemaah.
And the work started. There were 7 brothers.
Dia ada 7 orang Jemaah Kuwait.
In the meantime, we were trying to build the masjid.
Pada itu kita pun cuba dapat bina masjid.
So we had $20,000 in the bank.
Ada 20,000. Okay.
Now the building would cost $500,000.
Harga bangunan nak buat tu separuh juta.
There was one Egyptian architect at the time, Sharif Abbas.
Ada Egypt arkiteknya, Sharif Abbas namanya.
We tried everything to collect money to build this masjid.
Kita usaha sedaya upaya untuk kumpul duit untuk buat masjid.
Donations, we make dinners, we sent some brothers to Saudi Arabia and Emirates to collect money. Nothing worked. They all came back empty.
Jadi kita usaha sampai pergi ke Saudi untuk collect duit, buat event macam-macam untuk buat collection duit, tapi akhirnya tak berdaya.
But in 74 we started there. 75 we started the effort of Tabligh.
Dan 75 kita mula usaha Tabligh.
Simple effort. We didn't know anything about usul or adab. We just go and knock on people's doors, say, brothers, the masjid, you come for salat, Allah will take care of it, and so on.
Tak ada, kita pun tak ada sangat tertib ya. Hanya kita pergi ketuk pintu rumah kita, kawan-kawan kita kata mereka masjid, datang ke masjid untuk sembahyang.
1 year after we started this jawla, this is the barakah of the jawla. 1 year after we started the jawla, the King Faisal rahmatullah alayhi was shaheed. And he had in his will, the wasiyah, $1.2 million for Australian masjid.
Masya Allah. Jadi pun dia setahun lepas tu King Faisal kat Saudi meninggal dia syahid. Tapi dia tinggalkan wasiat 1.2 juta ke Australia.
So we built the masjid. You start the effort for deen, for khidmat of Allah Azza wa Jalla, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes care of the rest.
Bila kita buat usaha agama, Allah akan bantu selesaikan masalah.
1996, we made mashwara, we're trying to make it a madrasa, primary school, just for our children.
Dan 1990 kita buat usaha kita nak bina madrasah untuk primary school.
We calculated when mashwara, we found that the school was going to cost us $2 million every year.
Wow. Dia tak kalkulate kira-kira kita nak belajar untuk setahun dia buat 2 juta.
Where we get $2 million, we couldn't get $500,000.
Mana nak cari 2 juta, 1 juta pun tak dapat.
But then Allah Azza wa Jalla intervened.
Kemudian Allah SWT seperti biasa bantu.
The government started to sell their own schools. We reduced the number of schools, so we bought one.
Jadi kerajaan Australia waktu tu dia dah nak kurangkan sekolah, dia jual sekolah-sekolah dan kita pun beli.
Also largely sent the finance.
Dan Allah SWT hantar ke kewangan.
Now this school, mashallah, it's an Islamic school. There's teaching of Quran and graduating as ulama.
Alhamdulillah di sana belajar surah agama tu kita proses belajar dan kita telah hasilkan ulama.
And our children, alhamdulillah, we have mashallah now the number of Hufaz of Quran in Australia is unbelievable.
Kami percayakan kata, ramai hafiz-hafiz di Australia sekarang.
We don't have enough masajid, although now it is over 100 masjid in Melbourne.
Sekarang di Melbourne dah tak cukup masjid, walaupun ada 100 masjid.
But the number of Hufaz and ulama, I think there is about 8 or 10 groups of ulama graduated from this madrasa until now.
Lebih kurang 8 groups. 8 groups.
Yes.
8 lebih kurang 8 grup kumpulan yang ulama-ulama dihasilkan yang graduate daripada madrasah.
The important matter in that is that one of these people who graduated as alim is an Australian. His parents were Australian and they converted to Islam and put their son to become alim.
Kita lihat orang Australia lahir di sana, mak mereka orang Australia, mereka jadi orang alim, mereka jadi orang alim Australia.
So you see, when the effort of Tabligh or the da'wah was not done, the children of ulama and Hufaz of Quran became kafir.
Jadi kita lihat bila dakwah tabligh orang yang keluarga ulama, bapa ulama, hafiz, anak tak tahu ke mana.
When the effort of Tabligh started, the children of kuffar have become ulama.
Bila untuk tabligh dibuat, orang kufar anak dia jadi wali.
So do you think that Tabligh is not important?
So adakah tabligh itu tak penting?
Anything to sustain iman and support iman becomes a fard.
Mana-mana usaha, mana-mana perkara yang untuk membantu kita punya iman, ya, meningkatkan iman kita, itu benda-benda yang menjadi fardu.
You get a lot of people talking about, without knowledge about Tabligh, that it might be Sunnah, it might be only for Pakistanis, it might be for Hindus. It is for your children.
Jadi kadang-kadang kita sangkakan tabligh ini untuk Pakistan, untuk orang tertentu dan sebagainya. Sebenarnya tabligh iman ini untuk anak-anak cucu kita juga.
It is for this ummah to become closer to Allah Azza wa Jalla.
Inilah untuk umat ini supaya hampir ke Allah SWT.
See, being Muslim is not only to come and pray 5 times salat or fast Ramadan or pay zakat or go to Hajj. This is not only Islam.
So Islam itu bukan sekadar sembahyang, bayar zakat, pergi haji, puasa saja.
You see, Rasulullah SAW said in the hadith that we overlook it actually. Hadith said Islam is built on 5 pillars.
Ya, kita kadang tak terperasan, terlupa. Islam terdiri pada 5 tiang.
These pillars are not Islam. Islam is built on these pillars.
Jadi Islam tu bukan tiang tu, tapi Islam tu terletak atas.
If you build 5 pillars, you cannot live in them.
Ya, kalau kita bela tiang, kita tak boleh berdiri.
Eventually, it starts to reduce, iman starts to go down, and we start to introduce things into Islam.
Jadi lama-lama bila iman menurun dan macam-macam kita buat benda-benda
until it comes out of our children's lives.
yang hilang daripada kehidupan anak kita.
See, until 1984 in Australia, in 1984 was the first time we make khatm of Quran in Ramadan with the full Quran.
1984 hari pertama kita buat sembahyang tarawih saja.
Yes.
So khatam Quran.
And that was done by one Tabligh Jamaah that came and they had Hafiz of Quran with them.
Itulah jemaah tabligh yang datang yang dalam jemaah itu ada Hafiz Quran.
But this effort, it is more important for me and for my family and for my children.
Usul ini sangat penting untuk saya, keluarga saya dan anak-anak saya, isteri saya.
So we say, brothers go out for 3 days. What do we do in 3 days?
Kita keluar 3 hari. Apa yang kita buat dalam 3 hari?
We ourselves learn the Sunnah of Rasulullah SAW.
Kami di sini belajar Sunnah Nabi SAW.
We learn how to sleep on Sunnah. We learn how to wake up on Sunnah. We learn how to eat on Sunnah. And then we sit in Ta'lim. We learn the Ahadith of Rasulullah SAW.
Dalam 3 hari kita belajar tidur cara Nabi, ya, bangkit cara Nabi, sembahyang sunat Nabi, dan kita duduk dalam Ta'lim, kita tentang hadis Al-Quran.
And then we go around the masjid visiting the locality to invite them to come to the masjid, so that this masjid become populated.
So kemudian kita petang-petang kita ziarah rumah ke rumah supaya niat supaya masjid ini penuh dengan manusia, dengan orang datang sembahyang
with mahabbah.
dengan penuh kasih sayang.
One person was Bosnian, Jamaah. They were in Central Australia. When we do this effort of da'wah, when we go into a town which is new, we first open the phone book, and we find the Muslim names and their addresses, then we go and visit them.
So dalam satu masa itu kita nak orang Bosnia nak jumpa mereka, kita tak tahu rumah, kita buka nombor telefon untuk tak tahu nama Islam dan kita telefon.
We found one Muslim name, went and visited him, and when he opened the door, he was about 75, 80 years old. When he opened the door, we told him that, mashallah, we came from the masjid to visit you and see your ahwali. And the man started crying. He said, you are the first Muslims to knock on my door in 40 years. 40 years, no Muslim knocked on his door.
Jadi dia satu hari itu dia pergilah satu rumah, dia ketuk pintu rumah tu, dia membuka, ada orang yang berumur dekat 75 tahun. Jadi dia tengok, dia kata, ya Allah, inilah pertama kali selama 40 tahun orang Islam datang ziarah saya.
He said, when I came to Australia, I used to pray 5 times salah. Now I forgot the words of salah.
Dulu bermula saya datang pun, dia kata, waktu itu saya sembahyang 5 waktu. Sekarang saya dah lupa apa semua.
We have an island close to Australia called Thursday Island, the island of Khamis.
Kita ada satu pulau panggil Pulau Khamis.
It used to be all Muslims.
Dulu semua orang Islam kat situ.
So the Jamaat went there and they asked where are the Muslims. He said they're all in the graveyard, in the cemetery.
Jadi di mahkamah saya dia kata mana orang Islam? Orang Islam semua dalam kubur lah.
But there are an old woman, over 90 years old woman, and her brother in the old people home.
Jadi ada dua orang, ada wanita tua, anak-anak, berada di anak-adik dia, ada di rumah orang tua.
Her room was at the end of the corridor.
Rumah dia di belakang pintu.
So when the Jamaat started, when they went inside, they were walking towards her room, she looked at them and she started screaming, the Muslims are coming, the Muslims are coming.
Jadi dia nampak dia pun menjerit perempuan, oh orang Islam datang, orang Islam datang.
She said, my father died when I was 10 years old.
Dia kata bapa saya meninggal semasa umur saya 10 tahun.
And he told me that we Muslims look after each other.
Di sini orang Islam saling memahati satu sama lain.
She said the Muslims will come and look after you.
Orang Islam akan jaga kamu.
She said, I've been waiting for you for 70 years.
Saya menunggu kamu dah 70 tahun dah.
See, we are all living our life in a shell. We are not thinking, we are not carrying what you are needed in the world. You are needed everywhere, and you can do it. When we go around the world, we have seen the signs of the times of Sahaba and Tabi'in, what footprints they left in this world.
Jadi kadang-kadang kita ni duduk dalam katak waktu buruk ni, duduk tempat kita kan. Kita tahu yang di luar sana, kita kena ambil perhatian juga di luar sana kan, bagaimana jemaah yang dibentuk. Jadi kita tengok bagaimana sahabat-sahabat dan tabi'in mereka telah tinggalkan tapak-tapak aktif mereka untuk sebarkan agama.
In the old days, they didn't stay at home. They knew that they have the responsibility of carrying this message of La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah SAW all over the world.
Jadi mereka tahu tanggungjawab untuk sebarkan La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah seluruh dunia.
In Africa, when we went there, we found all the tribes. The Warimba tribes there were Muslims. They still say Assalamu alaikum, but they drink alcohol.
Jadi masa saya pergi ke Afrika, dia kata kita jumpa tribes orang sana kan. Jadi orang sana dia beri salam, tapi dia minum alkohol, minum bermabuk kan.
And they still have the character of Muslims. When we entered in their compound, all the women disappeared.
Jadi mereka ada ciri-ciri Islam. Bila kita masuk dalam kawasan dia, wanita semua menyembunyikan diri.
You can see in America, when we're in America, I've seen with my own eyes a copy of the treaty that was done between the white man and the red Indians. Wallahi, I've seen it with my own eyes. It's signed by Abdurrahman Abdul Rahim.
Allah. Lalu masa saya pergi Amerika, dia kata, saya tengok satu treaty perjanjian orang Islam, orang Masadi dengan orang Indian. Buat treaty sign, signature tu yang sign tu lah Abdul Rahman. Abdul Rahman yang sign tu.
So you can see the effort, what the responsibility that the early ones from the Tabi'in and Atba' Tabi'in, they carried this responsibility, and the result of it was the spread of Islam all around the world.
Jadi inilah tanggungjawab orang-orang tadi untuk sebarkan agama seluruh dunia. Maka itulah sepatutnya ambil tanggungjawab selepas mereka.
Now we are happy to stay at home, work 24 hours per day with the wife and children, and watch our children being taken away from us.
Jadi sekarang ni kita duduk, kita seronok, kita kerja 24 jam, duduk dengan keluarga, duduk dengan anak kita. Tapi anak kita telah jauh pada agama. 5 more minutes.
So inshallah, we want to bring back this honor that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put on us, and bring back that honor in us by doing this effort of da'wah, and have the intention. Wallahi, you can. If you really have the intention, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is qadir muqtadir. He's capable of doing anything He wants. He can change your ahwal. He can get you ready to go out in the qadr when you have the sincerity. The only thing, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala looks at the heart. If He finds that heart has eagerness to go and make khidmat for His deen, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will allow you to go.
Jadi Allah boleh, sekarang tuan-tuan, kerja ini mudah, semua orang boleh buat, sangat mudah. Hanya penting hati kita adalah kita buat perubahan. Jika kita sincere, kita betul-betul nak buat, Allah akan bantu, Allah akan tukar. Jadi kita hati kita usahakan tukarkan keadaan.
See, once Sahaba radiallahu anhum went all over the world, there were teachers, and the whole world treated them as teachers. You know, a teacher at school, if the teacher is anemic and small in body, and the student is bodybuilder and big, but this student will stand in front of the teacher in humbleness by virtue of this teacher teaching you.
So kita lihat satu analogi, kalau satu anak murid yang orang besar, tapi cikgu walaupun dia cikgu kecil, tapi oleh kerana status dia cikgu, anak murid masih tundukkan dia lagi.
So when we become teachers, the whole world will stand in front of us in humbleness.
Nanti apabila kita ajar, seluruh dunia akan tunduk pada kita.
As long as we will be the student, we are learning from them everything, but not giving them what we have, then we will be the student, and we will be standing in front of the whole world in humbleness.
Jadi kita then become student. That's not you a teacher, now you become student.
Pardon?
That's not you mention that you a teacher, now become student, humbleness.
Yes.
So kita kena sentiasa belajar sebagai belajar, dan kita akan rendahkan status kita, insyaAllah Allah akan bantu.
I think the professor knows exactly what I'm talking about. So inshallah, brothers, just make intention, do 2 rak'ah in the middle of the night to Allah, and Allah allow me to go out in the path of Allah.
Jadi insyaAllah tuan-tuan dia kata, beginilah niat di hati, malam-malam doa, ya Allah bagilah aku doa untuk buat jalan.
And we can start with our local effort.
Mulakan dengan setempatan.
When they have the jawla, they go and visit the Muslims around. Come and join them, inshallah.
InsyaAllah kita akan ada di sini lagi, dan kita duduk, kita akan buat ziarah. Jualan kita sekali, insyaAllah.
Already, inshallah.
InsyaAllah, sedia.
Jazakumullah khair. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, subhanallah wa bihamdika, asyhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka